This is the Rugby Odds, where an unlikely pundit panel of a wordsmith, a WWE legend, a rugby star, and a supermodel scour the globe, seeking best bets and bad behavior. Are you not entertained? Welcome back to Season 6, Episode 18 of the Rugby Odds. Matt McCarthy in New York City. We have a great show featuring, sort of, John Bradshaw Layfield, the WWE Hall of Famer turned rugby advocate, King Gift Egbelu, the inventor of words, and father of twins, Mike Friday, the three-time Olympic sevens coach, and father of Lucas Friday of the Harlequins, and Irish rugby legend George Hook. Guys, John couldn't reschedule his pedicure appointment, but it doesn't matter because Mike Friday, you, sir, are the TRO MVP. This time, second consecutive week of being perfect. Last week you had 5 wins, so what do? You go out and you get 6 wins. John, who is also 6-0, or doesn't tie you based on the fact that you also had the money line with Scotland. So that gave you an extra little bonus point, pushing you by the absent John Bradshaw Layfield. Gift, you were 4-2. The Fijian Drew let you down in a big way. There was that over-under controversy that we were talking about off camera, and I was 5-1. So overall, we were 21-3. So, woohoo! But that's all in the books, guys, because it's a cruel business that we're in. Now it's what have you done for me lately, and we're going to get to that in a moment. But in the meantime, let's go right to what caught your eye. Mike Friday, what caught your eye?
It's very unlike me to talk about referees. But in this instance, Scotland-Wales, first couple of minutes, Henry Arundel, yellow card, without a warning. That's never a yellow card offence. At worst, it's a penalty. And I actually question whether he was that quick and he actually got released on the ball. But I'm not saying that's the reason we lost, because that ain't the reason we lost. But it did make things a little bit more difficult, and we went 14-0 down while he was off the paddock. And I don't understand it. And they're big decisions in big games. But it was a quality game, and Scotland fully deserved to win the Calcutta Cup. But it's a little bit of a niggle for me, a little bit of a niggle.
Well, Mike, I was torn about that yellow card because I wanted Scotland to beat England, but I had Arundel in my fantasy teams across the board, even my super sub and Scrummy. And here he is getting that yellow, which is, you're right, debatable. But then the second one turns into a red. Absolutely kills our fantasy teams.
I share your pain because I took Huw Jones out of my fantasy team after his appalling display last week. And then he destroys me this week.
Yeah. Giff, what caught your eye?
This week was an interesting look at levels of play. And I want to talk about the difference between elite playing and people playing in your faces, because we got both example of them this week, where we got Scotland and England. Absolutely, Scotland showed elite play, which I had even said last week. This is a rivalry game. Everything that you have that you expect from them, this is thrown away. It's always going to be a toss-up in that one. And Scotland absolutely showed out against England, right? But then you got people playing in your faces. And that was France to Wales. This is wherever it's past the point wherever you're just playing well and you're just insulting people at this point. It's just trolling. Wales was just getting insulted. I don't think France was trying to at first, but I think after a while you just dude, I don't even respect you on the play. Some of these passes were wild, and Wales is just floundering through the whole process because France straight up just is playing in their face. This is high school. This is schoolyard bullying tactics at this point. All right.
Oh, wait a minute.
This is U.S. going after Greenland for no reason kind of tactics going on here. After the 5th score, you're just man, hey, can we throw the white towel here? This is
Mike. You're the coach on the panel. What do you have to say to that?
Gift's right about France. I mean, it was scary how easily they were able to tear it apart, and had Ramos and Bielberry had the types of games that we know they're capable of and not make the silly errors that they did.
Just a little backstory, folks. He is livid because he had them in his fantasy team and they weren't absolutely perfect.
But they still were my best performing players in the team. But it was just they dropped a couple of passes and Ramos missed the conversion. He missed
the conversion. Can you believe he missed the conversion?
But they were sublime, and then the rest of the back line were different level.
But he's saying that they should have dimed it down. They shouldn't have gone full bore on them at that point. Do you agree with that?
I'm not even saying they should have dialed it down. I'm looking at it. This is like whenever Drago was beating the crap out of Carl Weathers in Rocky 4. At some point, you're just like, bruh, someone throw the towel in for Wales' sake.
So are we looking to introduce a white towel in rugby? Are we looking to all right, well, okay, there's the white towel.
Only the TMO can throw it in, though.
It's a big towel. It comes right from the top of the stadium. A couple of things caught my eye briefly. The first of which was history being made and Hollie Davidson becoming the first woman to referee a Six Nations match, Ireland versus Italy. Thought she did a great job, and she was actually praised by the Italian captain in his post-match presser about the great job that she did. So kudos to Hollie. And also, we had Edogbo, who made his Irish debut off the bench. He had 9 tackles in the 10 minutes that he was in. He also got pinged for a penalty, but nothing came about of it. But he's 6'5", 266 pounds. He's a moose, and he's also an exceptional tennis player. So he's a freak athlete. He was born and raised in Cork to Nigerian parents, and unfortunately, there was some ridiculous racist stuff coming out of Irish fans to the point where the Munster and the Irish Rugby IRFU had to shut off commenting on their social media channels because some of these dicks are saying things like, oh, this isn't the Ireland that I know. And I'm like, this guy is born and raised in Cork. He's as Irish as Paddy's pig. Fortunately, Irish fans were pouncing on the idiots that were saying stuff. You don't hear anything when Mac Hansen talks and they say, oh, that's not the Ireland I know because he's got an Aussie accent, do they? No, they don't. They didn't do it in Carberry with the Kiwi accent. This is just absolute horse. And it's amazing how abundantly stupid people can be.
What? The internet's got stupid people, and I'm sure most of this was on Twitter. The Sharks! Oh!
Who knew? Who knew that
Who would have thumped?
Zany.
I didn't know Joey Carberry was a Kiwi.
So yes, Mike, our crack staff was able to verify that he is from Auckland initially and moved to Ireland when he was 12.
Well, I learn something new every day. Not just a gambling show, an education show as well.
Exactly. That's what we do here. We try to broaden horizons. And with that, we're going to go at our player of the week. But actually, guys, before we name the player of the week, shouldn't we just start naming this the Thomas Ramos Award and just give it to somebody every week? Because this guy can win it every single week. I know, Mike, that you're angry about him missing a conversion and dropping a pass. I know that you're very angry about that, but I mean, the guy is that good, and we can keep saying the same names over and over again, but we're not. So this week's Player of the Week nominees are Huw Jones, the number 13 of Scotland, in a bounce-back match for the ages, 2 back-breaking tries to go along with 114 meters / 125 yards rushing, 4 defenders beaten against England. Mathieu Jalibert, the French fly half, Louis Biel-Barry, Antoine Dupont, and the aforementioned Ramos were all sensational, but Jalibert is playing like a man possessed. 1 magnificent try, assisted on 3 tries, 6 perfectly timed offloads, 12 top kicks from hand, 18 carries for 86 meters / 94 yards, and the player of the match in 80 minutes. But his teammate, the number 12, Fabien Brau-Barry, in his international debut, Fabulous Fabien, trademark, scored the team's sensational 3rd try, made 20 tackles at center, ran for 101 meters, that's 111 yards, and beat 7 defenders while playing 80 minutes. Mike Friday, who is your player of the week?
It's a toughie because that is some debut by Brau-Barry at 12. I mean, again, get dotting down, did all his nuts and bolts really, really well, but
and last week you were talking about how the French center pairing was probably 4th or 5th in the
100%, and that was the Bordeaux centre pairing. This was the Pau centre pairing.
Yeah,
but Jalibert was sublime. He was all court. His chips over, his passing game, his kicking, his defensive game as well. I mean, he bangs people. Full 80 minutes. Yeah, Jalibert was the best of the best, and there was a lot of quality out there.
Gift.
Well, first and foremost, your reasoning for not putting Ramos is the same reason why LeBron is not a 10-time NBA MVP, and that is just wrong in and of itself.
I'll mute your mic right now.
But Mike is correct, man. Mathieu Jalibert was nuts. Some of those offloads were crazy. I give my vote for Jalibert.
I'm going to go with the kid. I'm going with Fabien Bralbory. What a debut that was, but how can you argue with the guy that got player of the match, and that is Jalibert. So Mathieu Jalibert is this week's player of the week. Let's go to Gift's favorite segment.
Grown ass man!
The nominees are Rory Darge. The number 7 for Scotland was a major problem for the English. 21 tackles, 4 turnovers in 80 physical minutes against an excellent England back row. Charles Olivon, the number 4 for France, who Mike wanted last week, gets it this week, the nomination at least. The 6'6" and 260-pound, 118 kilograms lock, played like a center, scored a try, double-digit tackles, carried the ball in the open field, gained 54 meters/60 yards, was great in the lineouts, ran great line support, and played 80 minutes. And finally, Jack Conan, Ireland's number 8, in a smash-mouth match with the raucous Italians. Conan had 18 tackles, a huge try in a tensely tight contest, a turnover, 2 lineouts, 12 carries for 31 tough meters in 80 lunch pail minutes. Michael Friday, who is your grown-ass man?
3 very good contenders, but I always thought, Olivon and that was close last week, but he didn't play 80. He played 80 this week. He played half of it in the second row and then moved.
Before you continue, Mike, he's playing against Wales.
I understand, but he played a full 80 and he played in the second row, dominated. He then moved to number 8, dominated, and he didn't drop no passes like Ramos. And he was a proper physical beast. And that's not taking anything away from Jack Conan, who did a job in a attritional affair against Italy, and Rory Darge, who was the talisman back row boy for Scotland in the pack. But
is it too difficult for you to pick a Scotsman for this award, Mike? Is that what this is all about?
Basically, yes. So I am going for the Frenchie, Charles Olivon, who I think was harshly treated last week, but he definitely is my grown-ass man this week.
Gift, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not doing France twice in a row again.
We're supposed to be impartial, guys.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna give it to Rory Darge. Look, man, this is a different level of gaming. Whenever you falter that hard against Italy and you come back against a team that you loathe in your soul, that is different. That you loathe in your soul. This is Korea and China versus Japan, Pakistan versus India, Scotland versus England. Darge came through, great play, forcing turnovers. It was probably personal for him, and he doesn't even know. His ancestors are proud. William Wallace is proud. So I'm going to give it to Rory Darge on this one.
All right, and Steve Lewis, who's been on this program, and many of you might know out there as an Elite Sevens coach, he's Scottish. He took his mom to Murray Field for the first time, and she goes to this match as her first match ever. So
she was the difference.
She was the difference, absolutely.
She must have had a voodoo doll or something with her. That's what's gone on now.
Exactly. And as soon as she gets home, if I picked anybody but Rory Darge, she'd smack me in the head because she lives 7 blocks away from me. So for that reason, Rory Darge
is this grown-ass man. Stephen Lewis's mom is the reason I'm in Brazil right now. So, hey, she deserves whatever she wants.
And she wants us to take a commercial break right now and welcome in George Hook and then bring you guys back after that. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
And we are back. And again, we have the pleasure / honor of having Mr. George Hook joining us from Dublin. George, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Yeah, I prefer you not to use the word slash. In Irish slang, that means going to the bathroom.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Let's get right into our recurring segment.
Headlines with Hook.
Hook's Welsh Fixes. George, tell us how you're going to fix Welsh rugby.
Well, how it went wrong in the first place was the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Margaret Thatcher, shut down the coal mines. And that was the fundamental background of Welsh rugby. Rugby was working class. They worked in the mines and they were carpenters and painters and electricians. So the first thing is you got to reopen the mines, whether it's for coal or whatever. We got to get them underground again so we can develop Welsh players. That's the first thing we have.
Are you saying that we're going to put them in the coal mines and make them work in the coal mines, the Welsh players?
What I'm really saying is we need to tap in to working class Wales again. A slight exaggeration by Hook, but you're used to that. It's going back to its working class roots. We didn't have hymns and arias ringing out in the Principality Stadium, the crowd singing. It's gone. So the whole heart of Wales rugby has been torn out. So what they have to do is they actually have to go back to amateur rugby, not professional rugby. I know what you're going to say, so don't bother saying it. How can they compete?
How can they compete
if they're amateur?
If they're amateur.
How does Argentina compete? The whole of Argentinian rugby is amateur.
Well, they do have Super Rugby Americas now playing, which is like the equivalent of Major League Rugby down in South America. So they have that, but I get what you're saying.
But they're great. Their best players are abroad. They're playing in Europe or they're playing in Australia or wherever. So because they haven't got very much money, and Wales are claiming they don't have any money, so what they do is they get their opponents to pick up the wages tab. And we know it can be done. Argentina have proved that. So now if we had amateur rugby in Wales, we wouldn't be reducing it to 2 or 3 professional clubs. The game would grow, the game would prosper, it would be amateur, so there wouldn't be a huge cost base. And then we sacked the WRU, who clearly can't find their way to the bathroom. This Welsh team went in on Sunday. They didn't have a defence coach. They didn't have a kicking coach. They had part-timers. But every other country has got full-time coaching. Now I'm giving you an economic base in which we can do all that again. There were empty spaces all over the Principality Stadium. We haven't seen that since COVID, and there was a reason in COVID. Now the reason is clear. So I've given you the answer. You've got it.
So just to clarify, the 4 pro teams that currently exist, and I know we're talking about consolidating down to 3, they should probably consolidate to 2, but you're saying just make them amateur again.
Go back to where we were. Newport, Cardiff, Abertillery, the great history of Wales, you know? Now, I know half your audience is out there and they're saying, who is this lunatic living in
I can hear them outside the studio here, yeah.
But it's not. Argentina have proved it.
All right, we've got to move on. You've already fixed Wales. Now I want you to fix our wallets. Who do you think's going to win in the Ireland-England match? It's a 12.5 spread. England are the favorites.
Given that I would have got everything wrong except the Wales game at the weekend.
Do you want to apologize? Because I told you there was no way in hell that Ireland was going to lose to Italy. Do you want to apologize?
No, because I've quoted many times before the great Greek expert Nostradamus. I'm not here to tell you the future, to foretell the future. But since you've asked me, England will win by more than 12.5.
Then you have your beloved Welsh team getting 21.5 points versus Scotland.
They will lose by more than 21.5.
You seem pretty definitive about that. And then fabulous French. Wow, were they just exciting to watch. 31.5 point favorites over Italy, George.
They won't beat Italy by 31.5 points.
I tend to agree with you on this one. Imagine that. Thank you for another stellar
Headlines with Hook.
Thank you, George Hook.
Take care. God bless.
We'll be right back with picks after this. Don't go away.
Scrummy, a new rugby app where you can play fantasy, track fixtures, predict results, and follow player stats. Play Six Nations Fantasy today for your chance to win tickets to the Champions Cup final. It's about to get scrummy.
You need your cleats? You need them tomorrow? If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com. Go there now. And we are back. And the top 14 has one match, but we are boycotting competitive integrity. The URC has one match, but we'll cover it because two of the South African teams are playing against each other. So the chances are pretty good that they'll have their starting lineups, which will be rested, but we'll wait and see. And we're going to, of course, cover Super Rugby and Japan Rugby League One. Let's start, however, with the Six Nations. And these numbers/spreads are from DraftKings. England, minus 12.5 versus Ireland. The money line, Ireland, plus 425. England, minus 525. Mike, who do you like?
I take England to cover. That's straightforward.
Gift?
Ireland's trash this year. I mean, even though they beat Italy, it's just not the same. I said that last time. I'll say it again. I'll take England to cover on this one.
I'm going to take England if Prendergast is the starting number 10. Prendergast does not bring any energy. If they start Crowley, he is their better chance. He brings some energy, maybe a chip on his shoulder. That's the only way Ireland is going to get within the 12.5 if Crowley's the starter. That's just me. Next one up, Wales versus Scotland. The Scots coming off the big win. Will they have a letdown? 21.5 points, Mike.
I think that Scottish backline is decent. Be interesting whether they close the roof. I think the Scottish pack can more than compete with the Welsh pack, which means they'll get fast ball, and I think Scotland will win and cover.
I don't think that Scotland is going to score as many points as France did. I think they come back to earth because this is just a less personal game, but take the spread.
What's the word for people that are afraid of rain? Oh, Scottish? Scottish. Yeah, so if it's raining in Wales, the Scots will melt and they will lose. But if it's not raining, they will destroy Wales. Last one up. This is a tough spread. France at home, minus 31.5 versus Italy. Does Italy get any respect from anybody? Mike, who do you like?
I think this is a very good spread. And I think it's no disrespect to Italy, but I think the way that Italy plays suits the French. I think that's the part of the issue here as well. Probably the French come alive most against the Italians. The French have just got too much on the bench. I think France will put on a show, and I think France will cover that. And that's no disrespect to Italy. I just think
sure as hell sounds like it, Mike. It sure as hell sounds like it.
The way that Italy plays suits the way that France play.
Gift, who do you like?
Yeah, look, I honestly, I've said before, I think France is, whenever they want to be able to play, they can beat and destroy basically any team. That being said, I think coming off of a big win against Wales and absolutely just playing in their faces probably means that they're going to let down a little bit on this next game. I actually think Italy will cover, and I think that France is just going to downplay, even though they'll be at home.
There's two factors here that come into play. Number one, the French are going to be so exhausted from running up and down the pitch against Wales last week. Number two, Wales proved that the French were not aliens, that they were human. I mean, Ramos dropped the ball. Mike said it a couple of times. They are not beings from another world. They're human. And Italy, 31.5 points. They are going to have that on the bulletin board. They are going to be so insulted by that. There's no way in hell Italy loses by 31.5 points. I'm taking Italy. Woo! I feel good. But let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with Super Rugby, Japan Rugby League One, and the URC, and our picks of the week. Don't go away. From New York City comes America's longest-running and most popular rugby show. The biggest names in Major League Rugby, MLR highlights, and big match previews. Rugby Wrap-Up presents MLR Weekly, made in New York City.
It's 2026! Different year, new opportunity, and where does that start with? Your health. Health Enhanced Food is here to be able to make sure you get on the right path. We got 17 baking mixes just to be able to help you set you on your proper pathway. Whether you're taking this from the spectrum of ketosis, needing keto diet, gluten-free, or you need something more serious because you're diabetic, have renal failure, it's time to bake yourself into the best form that you ever have been. Head to healthenhancedfoods.com. Use code RugbyOdds to be able to get 25% off your first order. And of course, Matt, no, just stop talking. Guys, stop him.
And we are back. Let's go right to the URC. We have one match. We have the Lions hosting the Sharks. And I don't know if Vegas knows something that we don't, because the Sharks, the way they've been playing, well rested, should absolutely beat the Lions. I don't care where they're playing the match. There's no way in blazes that the Lions should be 1.5-point favorites. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, on paper, Sharks would blow them away. But the Lions are at home, and for some reason, they seem to be decent at home. But I'll take the Sharks.
Gift.
I think the real question is what Sharks team we're going to get out of this. 1.5 points is nothing. Sharks to cover on this one.
Well, I think the coaching change and the young blood are changing the culture in the clubhouse a little bit. And I think the Sharks are going to show us something in the URC with an easy win over the Lions. Now we go to Super Rugby. Mike, who do you like in Super Rugby?
Right, I think this is the first showing of the Harlequins. And I think they'll come out of the blocks. I think Pacific are on the road, although they had a quality result against Drua last week. But I'm going to take the Hurricanes to win and cover that 12.5.
Gift?
I'm looking down back at the Chiefs versus Highlanders. You know, Chiefs coming off of a close win against the Blues, and you got the Highlanders off of a close win over the Crusaders. Two teams that, hey, they probably worn themselves out against great ones. So I'm putting it for the Chiefs to be able to cover on this one on the road. I think that they are a better team. John's taking the Crusaders, so he's taking me out of the running on that. So I'm going with the Waratahs minus 10.5 versus your Fijian Drua, Gift, because they're on the road. Japan Rugby League One. Mike, who do you like?
I got my boys, the Spears, win at home.
Gift?
Yeah, I may as well stick with the trend that I got. I'm going to stick with the Black Rams. There's so many innuendo jokes to go with that.
Yeah.
So many jokes.
Well, we're gonna skip those for now because we're running out of time. John's going with his Wild Knights. I'm taking the Sun Goliath over the Cannon Eagles. And that brings us to our last segment, John's favorite segment, Picks of the Week. Mike, who do you like?
I'm going to take the overs in the Wales-Scotland game. I think there's going to be a lot of points. I think Wales will score points.
Well, 3 points would serve as Wales scoring points.
I think they'll score tries. I think they'll score some tries this week as well.
Gift, what do you say?
I'm actually going to take the under on that France-Italy game. I think it's going to be a much closer game just because of the fact that I do believe that France will absolutely play down to their competition.
All right, I'm going to Super Rugby, and I'm looking at that Crusaders versus Brumbies match, which should be a great one. If you have an opportunity to tune in, do so. And I think that's going to be the over. I think there's going to be a ton of points scored in that one. And on that note, fellas, we're out of time. I want to thank the absent John Bradshaw Layfield, the WWE Hall of Famer turned rugby advocate, King Gift Egbelu, inventor of words, father of twins, Mike Friday, the three-time Olympic sevens coach and father of Lucas Friday of the Harlequins, George Hook, the Irish rugby legend, and thank you for tuning in. Please check out MLR Weekly. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Sign up for our weekly newsletter, and please join our American Red Cross Blood Donor Team. Yeah.